Thank you again, Jim. As I think all of you all know, Ira Hammerman, our general counsel, announced earlier this year that he would be retiring at the end of 2022. Ira has had a long and distinguished career as our general counsel, serving a critical role during periods of enormous change, including the merger of then SIA and the Bond Market Association, the Great Financial Crisis, and Dodd-Frank, and then the pandemic that we are now emerging from. He has been engaged on too many policy issues to name today, coordinating our broad membership to advocate on behalf of the industry while leading a great team. Personally, I've had the benefit of his counsel and friendship over the last 13 years that I've been at SIFMA. In addition to being our general counsel and all that entails, Ira has also been an integral factor with SIFMA's compliance and legal society. Throughout his tenure, Ira has continually engaged and maintained strong relationships with our member firms, regulators, and the industry bar. As the year comes to an end, we will miss his wise counsel, and I want to share our sincere gratitude, Ira, for your friendship and service to our industry. I ask that you all please join me in congratulating Ira on his successful tenure at SIFMA and on behalf of the industry. So let's welcome Ira to the stage to share some of his reflections on his time in the industry. Ira?
Thank you, Ken, for those kind and meaningful remarks. You've been our leader since 2013, and I've tremendously valued our friendship, continue to marvel at your command of so many substantive topics and issues, and I've enjoyed our many collaborations over these many years. Folks, I've been at this a long, long time. Now I see some of you are skeptical, as you see before you such a youthful-looking guy. But I've been serving this industry, first as outside counsel, and then as SIFMA's general counsel since 1983. And I've been attending this C&L annual literally every year since 1987, when I was 26. That's 33 years in a row until COVID took away the 2020 event. Those are some Cal Ripken attendance numbers I put up on the board. Well, as 2022 will be my last year at SIFMA, I wanted to use this occasion in front of this audience that means so much to me to say some public thank yous. Now, I told the planning committee I would be brief, but if I go over time and they need to play walk-off music, I did ask that they play something from my favorite band, Green Day. I believe I'm the longest-serving general counsel in the history of SIFMA and its predecessors, which date back to 1912. Believe me, it's been a great ride. Representing our industry through the SIFMA platform has been the perfect job for me, and I have a lot of people to thank. First are the various CEOs I have served, starting with Mark Lackritz, who hired me, then a 43-year-old Clifford Chance partner, to join what was the Securities Industry Association. Next, our members, the clients of SIFMA, without whom we would not be the industry's leading trade association. Thank you for supporting us, for volunteering your time and expertise in our many areas of advocacy. And to our many law firm colleagues, your associate membership in and sponsorship of SIFMA and the many ways in which you help us year in and year out with our industry advocacy has been most appreciated. Our members, of course, also include the C&L Society's Executive Committee and its presidents, the 10 of whom I've partnered with are so well known and accomplished, they're like one-name rock stars. DeMuro, Marola, Dorfman, Turan, Guarneri, Plotkin, Beeler, Prince, no, not that rock star, Mandelbaum, and Arashotov. Thanks to each of you for teaching me and letting me be a part of your successful tenures. I would also like to recognize all my SIFMA colleagues that are deeply committed to you, our members, While there are many individuals at SIFMA that I'd like to publicly thank, time today does not permit. So I'll focus on my core OGC colleagues, each of whom I recruited to SIFMA, and I wanted to thank them for always making me look good. Folks like Kevin Zambrovich, whose 3 a.m. informative and value-added emails always start my days. To Kevin Carroll, my partner since 2007, who is so passionate about all that he does and a real class act. To Bernard Canepa, who joined us from FINRA and has taken on literally every challenge I've thrown at him with professional expertise. And lastly, Melissa McGregor, who often reminds me that she's known and worked for me over half her life, going back to her Rogers and Wells days in 1998. I've had the privilege to represent the industry at many meetings with regulators and legislators over these 18 years. I've been in meetings with every SEC chair going back to Bill Donaldson in 2004. I've also valued the close personal relationships I've built with the FINRA leadership over these many years and count each of Mary Shapiro, Rick Ketchum, and Robert Cook as friends. Thanks to each of the regulators for always taking my calls, emails, and texts. Even though we did not always agree, you always heard me out, and I appreciated that. In closing, I wanted to thank my family for all their support over these years. And it seems fitting in this environment to start with my dad, Steve Hammerman. For the handful of you out there who may not know, Steve Hammerman is a living Wall Street legend. He was Merrill Lynch's longtime general counsel and ultimately vice chairman, and served as this C&L Society's president, was an Alfred Rauschman Award recipient, and perhaps most importantly, teamed up with me in 1990 to become the only father-son duo to win the C&L annual tennis tournament. I remind you of his impressive background to provide a little more context, to explain how I clearly ended up going into the family business. You see, when I was a teen at the dinner table, I was exposed to stories about financial crises like Whoops, Baldwin United, the Hunt Brothers, Long-Term Capital Management, and Orange County. The old-timers out there know what I'm talking about. Anybody born after 1990 can simply Google it. And at that family dinner table, I heard, a few hundred times, my dad's famous refrain: no one's bottom line is more important than the reputation of the firm. 1983 was not just the year I started at the law firm, it was also the year I married my best friend. Karen, you've been my partner and clearly the better half of our team for the 43 years we've known each other. Thanks for holding down the fort during my law firm years, being the bubbly personality at the endless conferences during my trade association years, and the best life partner anyone could have. I would also like to recognize and thank my 3 boys for being here with me to celebrate this milestone: Sam, Adam, and Jason. I will certainly look back on my nearly 40 years as a securities lawyer and advocate for this great industry with fondness and pride. But later this year, it will be time for me to pivot to the next phase of life. As many of you know, Park City, Utah has been my home base these past few years, and there's a multitude of activities and charitable causes awaiting me there. So hit me up when you come out to beautiful Utah to ski, hike, bike, or just goof off. Well, looks like I made it through before the walk-off music, so thank you all for listening, and I wish you all a fantastic conference. Thank you.
Don't leave just yet. First of all, thank you for this one. Don't leave just yet. We have 2 more
let's roll the tape and look at the screens. Thank you.
I first met Ira many years ago at a SIFMA Compliance and Legal Conference. I think we were then known as the SIA, when he was first in his role of General Counsel. I, of course, was in awe of him because he was the General Counsel for SIFMA and he knew everybody. At the time, I don't think I really understood how challenging a role it was, trying to wrangle all those many stakeholders with their very different, very firmly held points of view.
In a funny way, I feel like I've known Ira since he was a child. His dad, Steve Hammerman, of course, a legend in the securities industry, had always been a mentor of mine. Ira was fundamentally had the ability to provide things that are fairly unique and incredibly critical from the standpoint of industry persons trying to talk, negotiate, and work with regulators.
I first got to know Ira when he was a partner at Clifford Chance. He would do industry work, and I even think back then he probably did some work for the compliance and legal division of the SIA. We would from time to time obtain outside counsel to work on issues for us.
I first met Ira when I worked at Citi, and I was assigned to a working group. Meeting Ira opened the door to a long and productive professional relationship and friendship.
I first met Ira many years ago, even before he was at SIFMA, when he was in private practice. But where I really got to know Ira was when I joined the SIFMA General Counsel's Committee and spent a number of years there, both as a member and as chairman of the committee.
I've always relied on Ira, not just as my general counsel, but really as my colleague. I've seen over the years the respect and confidence that he's earned from our members. You'll find people that, in some cases, that Ira's known for many, many years, and there'll be others that he's just met. They all know Ira, they know of him, and they know of his reputation, and immediately there's that respect in his role in representing the industry.
Ira's success comes down to his leadership style. He leads through influence. He's never authoritarian or autocratic, and he has an elegant way of showing a wide variety of people with a wide variety of interests and needs how a particular course of action will be of benefit to them, so that even if they start out in opposite corners, they often end up meeting in the middle.
We would have breakfast on a regular basis and start to talk about the things I was worried about, and he'd start to talk about the things that he was concerned about, the regulatory proposals that we may have on the table. And sometimes I'd see him sort of his chin dip deeper and deeper into his cup of coffee, thinking, well, I don't know how I'm going to get anywhere here. But Ira always kept listening. He always was rated from the standpoint of respectfully trying to interact and trying to look for some solutions.
Ira has a good way about it, and he can get along with people. There are times when he's not going to be able to agree with people, and not going to be able to support positions that others might really feel strongly about. But he had a way of doing it where I don't think he created any animosity, and I think he got a lot of respect as a result.
I was privileged to work closely with Ira through the SIFMA Compliance and Legal Society, and when I was lucky enough to be president, Ira was the best colleague and partner that I could have had. Ira is passionate about the industry, passionate about the people in the industry, and always a fierce advocate, but at the same time, a reassuring and calm presence.
Ira was really helpful in helping me grow into my own job and providing me advice and counsel and pulling me aside and making helpful suggestions to help me grow and develop as a leader and as a general counsel. And that's something that I'll never forget, and I really appreciate it.
Ira, you've been a great colleague. We're going to miss you, but we know you're going to be busy with all your activities, the charities you're involved in. I can't thank you enough for all that you've done, not just for SIFMA and our members, but for me personally during my time at SIFMA. It's made all the difference in the world. Good luck. We'll miss you, but we know you're going to have a great time.
He's been such an amazing asset at SIFMA. We look Compliance and Legal Society and to me personally, and I will greatly miss his wise counsel and his sympathetic ear. So congratulations on your retirement, Ira. I know you and your family are just going to love this well-deserved next chapter.
No name that I hold with greater honor and affection in the securities industry than the name Hammerman. And what I can say is, Ira, you've taken that name and moved it forward and kept it a very, very special thing. I know whatever your next adventure is, you'll bring that same spirit, that same ability to listen, that same ability to come up with solutions, and that same ability to care. Best of luck, Ira. You're going to be great.
I am so lucky to have gotten to know Ira Hammerman over the past decade or two. He will be sorely missed.
Ira, congratulations. What a great run and what a great legacy. Take time out, take care of yourself, and enjoy this new, exciting chapter in your life.
Ira, congratulations on your much deserved retirement. There's a lot to be enjoyed in retirement. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you have even more fun. Let me ask one question. Ira's the guy who used to work here.